Just when you thought all these. First of all, I'm so happy that Hollywood is kaput, that they haven't slated any movies all year so far. Except for the day the year stood still. Because there's an Arab, Keanu Reeves, who stars in that movie with Jennifer Connelly, who's the only actress who's ever performed with a double dildo, a double-sided dildo. So you gotta give her credit. That's pretty classy. That's classy. Have you seen Requiem for a Dream? It's like a little koi fish tattoo. She was really beating it up. So there hasn't been any movies. All the movies changed going down, and people think that I want that because there's a saying that evil occurs when good people do nothing. It's not that I'm doing nothing. It's just that people have used money as a buffer all their lives, and I've been so against that. The disingenuity, this disingenuous. I'm more of the rapper, the Black Genuine. I like to take my shirt off. Have you seen Genuine? Do you know what I'm talking about or no? Probably not. Or Bert Kreischer. I don't. That's the beautiful thing is if you ever cross the border um, into Ontario, there's a shirtless city, a city where they don't use bras, and it really cuts everything down to size. Life right now is very much like Snatch when the the guy from Crank, um, when he visits Brad Pitt in the caravan in the Pikeys, and and where Brad Pitt calls the dogs Dugs, and that main character says it's not Peter Stormare, but it's that guy that was just in that bald ass guy that's always in the Expendables and he was in the Dwayne Johnson Fast and the Furious. So anyway, he goes to Brad Pitt, and Brad Pitt says, nobody comes around here unless everyone's always sizing you up. People that size you up are just trying to pick a fight. And if you've seen American Dreams, where he quotes Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, where Hugh Grant says, love always turns into distant loathing. And women are upset at dominant men because of the loathing. But the loathing women are realizing is because of them. And so I don't know how we've got to the situation where everybody's a flake, not a snowflake. Snowflake means you're unique. Just people are just flaky, and they use money as a buffer, and they're just disingenuous, and they don't know how to be authentic and think for themselves. They think from their vaginas, and that's just a gross ideology. That's iconoclasm. I mean, what did Jesus do when Mother Mary was being stoned? This is ultimately where we're headed. If everybody that's contracted HIV, because this all might be a joke, this Rona, unless you see it firsthand. And so I think faggots were the only ones that contracted HIV. That's how to tell who was gay and who wasn't. And now they have this whole agenda where they throw testosterone-ridden folk into the ghetto, and then they call them Latinos. It's like, dude, Latin America, people don't even speak Latin there. That whole thing's made up. And now we call them Latinx. And okay, well, what, you're going to be Hispanic, Spaniard, Mexican, Ecuador? How many ways are you going to describe somebody that's New Mexico, Albuquerque? It's just like they're all natives, no, but they're from Puerto Rico, but no, they also dominated the Philippines. It's like, dude, South American, Colombian. It's like, dude, everybody. No, there isn't that many factions. You don't have to impose so many sanctions. But anyway, I'm just making this video. I moved back home after 19 days, out on the streets. Well, I mean, my car is actually very comfortable to sleep in, and I'm going to be one to confess my guilt, admission into guilt, and I fell asleep the day before last. I'll have like little power outages during my shift, but according to my Fitbit, I fell asleep for 90 minutes. But to my fairness, or um, to my innocence, or whatever, to plead my innocence, it was raining. I was on fire watch where the generators kick, and I have to make sure there's no sparks. So I just did it for my car. So I haven't been told that that's wrong. I'm going to be in La Jolla, which will be my 9th post. And that's what I'm making this video for, is because I just shot this. I just wrote this. It's also my 9th novel of the year of 2020, which I know it sounds like bullshit, right? But I'll nail them. I did, Scintilla Tinge was my last book of last year, which you guys have to read. It was so fantastic. I mean, my God, it's such a page turner. And I'm gonna be having Zoom meetings with producers, and I'm gonna be getting a leg up, because I know you guys are all thinking, oh, or you ladies in gentrification, you gentrified ladies and gentlemen, are all thinking, oh man, not another freaking writer, right? Because I remember the day when nobody was a writer, and now everybody's a writer. Everybody has a book. So how do you know what's good and what's not? You know, where do you begin? How to scratch the surface? And more likely than not, you also write. I mean, if you remember Fight Club, for some reason they walk into that abandoned house, and he keeps saying, "I am Jack's raging bile." Well, who's Jack? There's Tyler Durden, and there's Marla. And you don't know Edward Norton's name, so maybe he's Jack. So anyway, so this is okay. So my books were called this year, a very unique title. So I might not remember them all, but I believe there's 8. Actually, I could grab my computer and tell you exactly. But they're little novellas of prose, where it's technically a collection of yeats. Because if have you ever signed into Twitter? It's an RSS feed, and people act as if it's open to all, and it's free. It's for free thinkers, and it's freedom of speech, and it's exercise their right to create, and it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. Have you used Twitter? It fucking sucks. It's a fucking hoax. It's run by some fucking RTD2, and it's all rigged. I mean, who posts shit like, "Oh, I'm gonna die if I don't have a charger," and it has 6,000 retweets? I mean, that's the thing, is that when I yell at people to stop posting pictures of their kids, it's not like I hate my friends. I mean, I do hate people that show off, people that it's not a fashion show. You don't have to pimp your kid. It's disgusting, that whole idea. But if you have to do it, okay, so be it. But that's what I hate, is that these fuckers end up going on Twitter and saying dumbass shit. Like this new TikTok video last night, where this girl picks up a cup and says, "Oh, do 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 colored people have opportunities?" No, no. And it kind of blew up in her face. So my new book is called The Novel 19 Cradle, which is just a fantastic name. I'm 22 pages into that. And then my other books, this is the one of them. This is called Vehicular Vagicide, Roger the L. That's my 7th book. And then going from my 6th book was 'Tis What It Is. My 5th book was Flash the Mob, Tilt the Crown. My 4th was Route 666. My 3rd was Hey Brain, You're Fired. And my 2nd was Botswana Gutted, Burundi Outgunned. I'll be making a video about that because that one is at my brother's. I didn't even open that. I was super excited. And my first one was called SS Karma Sutra. So 8 books, man. Can you believe that? And it's only been 4 months. So I usually write a book a year, but I've been writing 2 books a month lately. So anyway, check out guys. A lot of people have been commenting about how gorgeous my setup is, and I agree. I'm going to be going duplex hunting and searching for a new pad next to my brother, so my brother and I hang out. But it's a good setup, man. I'm going to leave here just shortly. I was able to enter the wrong gate code today, and it actually worked, which is actually very strange. And then I took about 25-minute showers. So I kind of feel bad about that. I feel like I'm spoiled, because I should pay rent probably. So, okay, just so I feel less bad. But yeah, man, I had a great night. The sheriffs were helping me patrol the lot. And like I said, I was hired in 9/11. It's been about 8 months. And in those 8 months, I've written 8 books. So stay up to date, man. It's very interesting when you're a cop. If you ever heard of Birmingham, not Alabama, but in the UK, and even in the United States, you practice this where there's usually for 1,000 houses, not people. There's one officer that patrols them, and I have that authority. I have the authority to be a silver lining. A cop is kind of like, when they say cop a feel, it's kind of gross. I don't mind being called pig because they're the only animals that don't sweat. I'm very rock steady, so I don't sweat. I don't sweat the small stuff. I'm not a really big fan of pork, the way it smells. I like the pork, though. So I'm gonna get back to it. Oh yeah, hey, I didn't even open this. Sorry. So, vehicular vagicide Roger the L. I got in a little bit of a spat with my brother because he said, well, there's no difference. A paraplegic has no use of his arms and a quadriplegic has no use of his arms and his legs. But ultimately, there's not really that much of a difference, right? If you could not use 2 of your limbs or all 4 of your limbs, it's technically, what are you going to do all your life? Would you rather be completely immobile, just use your feet, and then you just use your hands all day and you can't walk anywhere, or just use your hands, then you can't, and then have no use of your hands and just walk everywhere and use your feet to eat. So paraplegic, quadriplegic, it's technically means the same thing. When I think of a quadriplegic, I think of a 4-legged machine, to be honest with you. And a paraplegic, I guess, Anyway, so I'm just kind of running on tangents there, like Cloud from Final Fantasy, just jumping from cloud to cloud. But here's proof in the pudding. I told my cousin that, and she was giving me attitude. I asked her to marry me, and she said, well, you're a stalker. I said, no. I said, I don't want to be a stalker. I said, first of all, I'm your relative. I could do whatever the fuck I want. I think arranged marriages are nice because you have a cushion where you could rat each other out and not be pinned on the blame, because women love to do that. They sandbag. It's singularity. It's the gradient in your shoe, the granule in your shoe. No matter how you stand, it's always going to create a disturbing amount of pressure and fray your nerves. So, vehicular vagicide Roger the L. That's not this one, but I have that. My mom, I don't know what she did with it. I think she still has it. This is my old book. This is a collection of Yeats too. But like I said, if you want to check out either Burunda Outgunned, which I'll make a video of later, and Botswana Gutted, that's a new collection of Yeats. And then the one that I was trying to make a video for was called Vehicular Viagicide, Roger the L. Which is, oh man, which is just that title. People might say, oh, this guy's he's not wired correctly. You know what? He doesn't speak English, but I do. Vehicular Vagicide is saying that, hey, why are only women clutch in this day and age? Because it's just like, dude, why even drive anywhere or wherever you go, the pussy's on the pedestal, and or you know, it's just it's just a bunch of clucking around no matter where you go. You know, it's a vehicular vagicide. You're immobile anywhere you go. You have to Roger the L. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very apropos title, and I'll be making a video of both of those my new books later. Okay, so peace be with you. Thank you for spending this morning with me.